Welcome to FFC Top 3, a show where we, your FFC hosts, count things down from 3 to number 1. Thank you for joining us this week. If you have a suggestion for a topic on Top 3, be sure to drop us a note on Twitter at FocusFireChat, in our Discord, or even email us at focusfirechat@gmail.com. This week, we are going to discuss our top 3 animated movies, which apparently is going to cause another riot because I am uncultured according to these, well, at least 2. Justin's on my side.
No, I'm on your side.
So, yeah.
Hang on, repeat that statement just real quick to make sure you heard it correctly.
Yeah, Justin's on my side.
Okay,
and
okay.
You two are uncultured.
Right, okay.
Who wants to go first? So I'm just trying to figure out, who wants to go first and who... I'll even go last this week. I'll take the hard spot.
Hey, since Justin had such a big problem with going last week, let's let the cultured one go first this week.
Oh, hey, I have no fears about having any of mine stolen this week. Zero fear, but I will go first. Cool. My number 3 favorite cartoon of all time is actually an oldie but a goodie from my childhood, but I've watched it recently and it holds up. And that is The Secret of NIMH.
Ah, that's an awesome one.
Dude, that has a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. It's like this Machiavellian tale. It's got rats and mice and a crow who's got a weird obsession with yarn. And yeah. I swear to God, most of my days I feel like that crow looking for his sparkly. But yeah, real good movie.
Nice.
You should check it out.
I know I've read the book, but I don't know if I've actually ever seen the movie.
Oh my God, the movie's good.
Nice.
And my favorite cartoon character in any cartoon when I was a kid was Justin.
Mm-hmm.
The rat, because he was a bad.
Nice.
One might say he was the Rat King.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Well, yeah, actually... He kind of was. Yeah, he kind of was, wasn't he? I was going to give you grief, but I was going to give you grief, but that's actually a pretty accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry for the spoiler, but you've had 28 years to watch that thing.
Blue, what about you?
My number 3 is actually the Lego Movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't stand the freaking song from that movie.
Really?
That's all I heard. That's all I heard for 3 or 4 months at school.
Oh yeah,
Kids
I can see that.
Stinking movie.
Well, when you have a 5-year-old and your options are either that or Frozen, I'm gonna go with the Lego Movie.
Yeah,
all day.
Let it go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna push it out a window. Because the Frozen soundtrack can just go take a walk off a pier. Sorry, it's a good soundtrack, but I've had to it's one of those things where it's kind of, I think, Green, kind of similar to your response. When you have to listen to it back to back to back to back to back to back to back for ever, it's just, I'm like, okay, we're done. And the cool thing about the Lego Movie that I really actually kind of really liked was it's a very kid friendly movie. But it also, I don't know, it reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you guys remember when, you guys probably have seen it, Shrek. Mm-hmm. How it had, a really oddly mature storyline, but it was still kid-friendly.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the Lego Movie. If you pay attention to the actual story, there's a lot going on that actually has a really big, it's got a lot of commentary on, the aspect of playing and being just kind of carefree, and I really liked it. I don't know, I thought it was really cool. So, but yeah, that's my number 3.
Well, the same also happened with the Lego Batman movie too.
Yeah, the Lego Batman movie though, it just, I don't know, Lego
kind
Batman. Yeah, it was. I think they were trying to ride on the coattails of the Lego Movie, to be honest.
Right.
Does anyone else think that they want to see a animated Batman series where Will Arnett does the voice of Batman?
Oh my gosh.
I think that would be great.
I'll get back to you on that one.
I'll get back to you on that one.
What's your say, Beard? What's your number 3?
My number 3 of all time is kind of an odd one for some, only because I know it gets higher on most lists. But it'll be Akira. Akira is a animated film that came out late 80s. Still uses it was a fully hand-drawn animation film, Japanese anime style. But what it did with lighting, what it did with design work, what it did with the way that camera pans were done, even in animated styling, are still used to this day. And it is easily one of the best looking films that you can find that are still out there at this point. And again, it's a movie that was made in the late 80s. I think we got it over here in the States in 88 or something like that.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. Heads up, it's a really dark one.
It's very dark. That's actually one reason that it's as low on my list as it is only because it's such a weird one. It is one of those that's really hard to... visually, I love watching that film. But being able to sit and digest the movie gets to be a little tricky. Yeah. So that's the one reason that I think it's a little lower on my list, but it still deserves to be there for sure.
Nice. Blue was talking about having movies that get stuck in your head, and my number 3 is actually the one that did that to me when I was a kid, because I loved movie musicals. Disney is generally really high on my list, but surprisingly it didn't make my top 3, if I'm being honest with myself, the movies that I watched all time. My number 3 is Anastasia. And I don't think Disney put that out there.
Nope.
But I wore out that CD because
really?
I listened to that CD constantly, late high school. I watched the movie too, but I love the Rasputin song in the Dark of the Night, and it was a really, really well done soundtrack. One of my favorites.
It was actually not a bad movie too.
Yeah, it was funny. Bartok, I still make jokes with Julie. We always talk about, well, that fell right out there, sir. Because Bartok, the bat, Rasputin fall apart. But yeah, that's my number 3. What about number 2, Mr. Justin?
Number two, not to just completely ride my childhood through this whole thing. Wow, that was a weird sentence. But my number 2 is actually G.I. Joe the movie. And it sounds like a silly one, but if you've watched that movie, it is seriously weird in a really amazing way.
All I know is all I can remember from G.I. Joe are the parody public service announcements.
Yeah, but no, that was the show. That was the show. So the movie, G.I. Joe the movie, they went into production before Transformers the movie, the animated movie, where Optimus Prime died. But there were a bunch of delays because there was a bunch of arguments over the direction of the film, and the movie turned out being this really trippy. If anyone has seen that movie, it's just surprising that ever made it. It didn't go to theaters because they had a bunch of problems, so it went straight to VHS. But the storyline is so trippy and weird for a kid's cartoon in the 80s. But it's a really good 80s. If you're into it was actually animated by one of those animation studios in Japan that's really famous, Toei, I think it's called. It had Serpentor and Cobra Law, and Burgess Meredith played the the bad guy. It was really good. It was really
nice.
Good.
I would just like to correct on that. It is called Toei Animation. They're kind of the guys that did Dragon Ball.
Okay. So I'm just gonna bring you back, and I'm in Texas. I just feel like we completely skipped the step where you're impressed that I had even a reasonable facsimile of the name.
I think you forget the fact that I'm just like complete anime nerd. And I'm just like,
You
no, sir, you
curmudgeon."
need to pronounce it properly.
Toei?
Toei.
Toei.
It's like Joey, but Toei.
Yeah.
I'm
Do we
with
have-
you.
Blue, do we have another, like,
No, mine is actually the
Eastern
second one.
themed?
The second one for me is actually a tie between it's two Batman animated movies. It's one of the first ones that I remember is Mask of the Phantasm, but then also I have to put up there that's pretty tied for it is Under the Red Hood. Just simply
That's a good
because oh my god, that story is
So
super dark.
So good.
But they did such an amazing job. That and Jensen Ackles does the voice acting for Red Hood, and just
Right.
I mean just like nails it. Like just it's an amazing animated movie. If you haven't seen that one, I think it's actually on Netflix. Again, as apparently is kind of a theme for most of these animated films that we're talking about. It is a very dark one. It is it's not Dick Grayson or any of them. It's Jason Todd. But yeah, so that is the close. And then Mask of the Phantasm, just simply because if you remember when that came out, it was just like it was. I don't know. I remember sitting down and watching that for the first time and getting like really excited that we finally had a Batman movie instead of just a TV show.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree entirely. That one is so... And just to highlight that real fast, too, because that is, like, one of my favorite Batman animateds of, like, all freaking time. You said how Jensen Ackles had voiced it, and it's just, like, it is the voice... Like, I put Kevin Conroy on as the voice of Batman. I put Mark Hamill on as the voice of the Joker. And I will put Jensen Ackles as the voice of Jason Todd from this point on. Like, he is just that good.
Speaking of that, what's your number 2 then, Beard?
My number 2. All right. So we all knew that Dragon Ball was going to be on this list at some point, right? Like we all knew this was going to happen. Okay.
Yep,
So-
pretty much.
what?
The reason, like, I need to preface this a little bit because of a little something, because I know some people are going to be like, well, why the heck is Dragon Ball up here so high on your list there, Beard? Only because Dragon Ball is so important to me throughout my life as a kid growing up and so on. It was actually like that, as corny as it is gonna sound, it was like that one driver or one of the drivers I had to just kind of like keep pushing the limits and keep doing a little bit more. So it was just like one of those cartoons I always connected with. That being said, it is higher up on the list than things like Batman, because I would actually watch it pretty much every single morning before I went to school. It was on in the mornings at like 6:30 in the morning. Between that and Sailor Moon, I had plenty to watch in the morning. So I'm just going to tell you that now.
Sailor Moon!
Which Sailor Moon, not as big a fan of, but my sister was, so I at least fought through it, and I ended up liking it by the end of it anyway. It really
Tuxedo
isn't
Mask!
that bad.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Tuxedo Mask, Jesus Christmas.
Ask Blue how much he knows about Sailor
Oh
Moon.
my gosh.
Oh, God.
Anna's
Oh, God.
a big fan.
Yeah, my wife is
Yeah.
a huge fan. She was so excited when what was it, Crystal or whatever the
Crystal,
Yeah,
that's the
the-
newest.
I think because it's more closely aligned with the manga, is my understanding. I guess I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, that's actually on point, because that was one of the biggest contentions with the original Sailor Moon. It loosely, it's kind of like the same thing as like what happened with a lot of older anime that we had. Anyway, getting back to the one I was thinking of, there is one Dragon Ball Z movie in essence that I didn't see until quite a bit later, but I think it encapsulates every single feeling you could think of when it comes down to Dragon Ball in general, and that is the Janemba movie. The movie with Gogeta vs. Janemba is probably one of the best Dragon Ball movies in my opinion, because it encapsulates, like I said, every single feeling behind it. You've got all the screaming, you've got all the power-ups, you pretty much have all of the important characters that ended up wrapping into itself as like important to the story thus far, even including some of them from like the Boo saga, which is like the last saga of it all. And even then, like the bits that were supposed to be there of the Boo saga was really just like the tournament of power that they held. And that was more as just kind of like a feeling just to be like, yeah, Goku's in the afterlife, but he's doing just fine. Don't worry. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you wanna keep making Dragon Ball there? You wanna keep doing that, Akira Toriyama? Is that's something you want to do? No. Well, okay. We'll just keep making GT then, I guess, at that point. So okay. But anyway, yes, it is called Fusion Reborn. If you guys get a chance to watch it, it is a fantastic Dragon Ball movie. It again just kind of grabs all the characters up, and it's like that greatest hits list, if you will. It's also, as dumb as it is, a large majority, if not all, of the movies for Dragon Ball, save for like the two more recent ones, I think, were basically non-canon. So the entire and terrible truth of it is that Gogeta as a character, like the fusion of Goku and Vegeta, was non-canon up until they ended up implementing it in GT, which they've now non-canonized. So when all is said and done, Gogeta as a character still does not exist within the canon. So per that point, at least, thank God, Gotenks is okay, which means that the fusion realm, the fusioning in general, is still very much a thing. But right now within DB Super, I know they're focusing so heavily on the what they call the Potara fusions. Two different types of fusions. So anyway,
I'm gonna need you to explain that to me later.
Yeah.
That's fine. If anybody followed that, I give you props. I'm sorry. I just like gushing about Dragon Ball.
Hey, Beard, but how stoked were you when you finally got your Dragon Ball Z live action movie? Like, you must have been over the moon, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I think
That's like that's like the last Airbender movie. It was so good, right?
Yeah.
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 I think you and I have very different ideas of what good is there, Blue. Actually, that explains a lot of things now all of a sudden.
God.
And there goes chat. Justin,
Yes.
you might want to be careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody was
First
just like,
of all,
that movie never happened ever. It didn't exist. It was an abomination.
First of all, James Cameron crawled so deep into the patent office, the trademark office. I'm surprised they were even able to make the Airbender movie.
God.
He's like, I don't care. I don't care if you're not going to call it Avatar.
They didn't need to. Like, that was the terrible thing. They could have put it in the hands of the studio that actually made it, and it would have been wonderful. Why are we still on this topic?
I don't know.
Green, go! Green, save us!
It's supposed to be like a freaking short thing, and I'm carrying it on.
It's all right. It's all right. I am going to be less contentious than all of you guys this week, apparently, because I think everyone can agree that Brave Little Toaster is a great anime.
Oh, that's an awesome one.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
That is.
Hey, who else here thinks that if we're all Brave Little Toaster characters, Beard is the vacuum cleaner?
Beard is totally vacuum cleaner.
The vacuum cleaner.
But who's the blankie, though? Because there's the sad one. Who's the blankie?
You think you're probably the blanket?
Yeah, probably.
And I'm probably...
That
I'm
means
probably
Beard
the
tries
lamp.
to, like... Oh. I'm not sure how I feel about this now.
So, what were you talking about less contentious than all of us? How about we move on?
Hey, I'm not going
Shut
on
up,
a
vacuum, you
diatribe
suck.
on the
Shut up,
animation
vacuum.
style. What's your number one, Justin?
Sorry.
He's still broken.
He's going to refer to him as the vacuum cleaner from now on.
I gotta find out what the vacuum's name is now.
I don't remember either.
No, the Brave Little Toaster, I think, is a really influential movie if you really think about it, because the concept for it may have led to Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good. I completely forgot that one. So good job. No, my number one is actually I got out of my childhood and grew up a little bit. It's actually an animated movie I've seen since I've been an adult, so to speak. And I was really surprised when I heard that Zack Snyder was going to follow up 300 by making an animated movie about owls. But
I haven't seen this one yet. Is it good?
Oh my god, dude, it's really, really good. Legends of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole, and it's this really fantastical story about the civilization of owls, and it's really, really good. Like the you know how Zack Snyder shoots movies, like 300, like the way he shoots like rain and things like that, like in slow motion, and it's just a really beautiful movie, and also with a pretty cool story and amazing voice actors. Like I think he's actually got like Hugo Weaving and I think Helen Mirren's in it, and Jim Sturgis, and a bunch of really cool British actors are in it. But it's a really, really good movie. You should totally check it out. And Pins, the vacuum cleaner, was named Kirby. Thank you. I think that's right.
That would be kind of a nice branding for them.
But yeah, that's mine is the Legend of the Guardians, which
nice.
Ironically.
Yes, ironically with the Destiny Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
Blue, what's your number one?
Princess Mononoke.
Okay.
Like just hands down, it was not one of the first of Studio Ghibli's that I saw, but it is probably for me in particular, it's still like when people ask like what one animated movie they should watch, I always go to that one, just simply because it just really encapsulates like the power of some really ingenious storytelling in my mind. And it's such a layered story. Like every time you watch it, it's one of those that you pick up on new aspects of it. But yeah, it's just if you have not seen Princess Mononoke, or actually any of Studio Ghibli's, Green, you should fix that.
I'm going to say, and to add on to that a little bit, since that was going to be one of my number ones, I will simply say that it is one of those movies that grows with you. It actually changes and alters your point of view over time as you get older, which I think is a extreme testament to the way that film is put together. So,
yeah, like
excellent animation.
Oh my gosh, the commentary on, like the unspoken commentary is really the best. Like in my mind, is the best part. Like the what is being said and stuff. It's I don't know. Like it sticks with you, and I agree completely with Beard. Like it definitely, as you grow in like in real life, it matches that growth. Like there's something there for really almost everyone, which is honestly kind of a standard hallmark of most of his work.
Yeah, no, definitely. And to slightly add to that, besides, like, you know how Captain Planet had a huge like environmental message in front of you the way that it did, and this one is just like, I can enjoy this for like being an action film, and all of a sudden you watch it the second time
and you're like,
this is awful. This is awful.
Oh my god,
how did I miss this the first time? What is wrong with me?
Gunpowder is evil.
Yes. Yeah, that it's just
Pins. Big Hero 6 was up there with the Lego Movie, actually. For me, I did forget to mention that one, but yes, Big Hero 6 is also there.
It's another good one for sure. I'll tie to that too.
Yeah. Anyone have any sentimental favorites that didn't quite make it into the top three?
Well, hey, I'm not done yet. What are you talking about?
Both Beard and I haven't gotten our number ones done.
He's just happy that he gets to cut off people.
No. I'm just making you start thinking about it now so you're ready later.
You're doing your homework early.
Yeah.
All right. That's rare for you, Justin. I'll take it.
I know, right?
I guess were you all done on that, Blue? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine will also be a Studio Ghibli film. I would have said Princess Mononoke, but I figured the Blue was going to end up taking that one anyway. Mostly because of our chat from last week. If you guys stayed on the after show afterward, you know how that went. Mine, however, is still going to be, like I said, a Studio Ghibli film. It will be The Cat Returns.
Mm-hmm.
The Cat Returns is one of those films that is charming in its different rights because it takes on the different persona, the typical persona, if you will, of what Hayao Miyazaki does with his movies. Now, there are a couple movies that otherwise fit into the bill of the Princess Mononoke flair. You could look at... oh, God, now I can't remember it. Freaking Patrick Stewart did a voice with it. This is terrible of me. The one, though, that was like one of his first ones was called Laputa, or Castle in the Sky. That was one of his like older ones for sure, and that still fits into the partial Princess Mononoke vibe. And then the other one, which the name escapes me now, unfortunately, the Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind. There we go.
The bugs.
It's a mouthful. That's why. Yes, the bugs. That's another one that kind of fits into this the Princess Mononoke styling to a point. Princess Mononoke, though, goes to such a distance when it comes to like the darker elements and kind of driving its point home that these other couple movies had not. And then you get to something like The Cat Returns, and it's this complete flip-flop. It's a total juxtapositioning of how you may have like grown up with the way that Hayao Miyazaki had made his movies to still tell a point, though. It's a partial like coming of age movie with a high school girl that's like trying to figure out everything that's going on. In the end, she figures out everything that she needs to, and it is all thanks to the not the Cat Guild. I always say Cat Guild. I know it's not the Cat Guild. The Cat Bureau, and the Cat Bureau is made up of 2 cats and a crow. But you don't realize it about the crow and the 1 cat. They're actually made of ceramics, like they're actual like creations that come to life at the when the moon's out. So it's like this really cool different take on like what's going on within the world, while still making it somewhat believable and really making these characters likable. But anyway, yeah, I really will recommend if you're looking for the 2 styles that Hayao Miyazaki has taken with Studio Ghibli over the years. I will always recommend Princess Mononoke, but then I will immediately, almost right after, recommend The Cat Returns, just to remind you that both of these films came from the same exact mind. And that should give you, like, just how brilliant this person is for creating the movies that he has over his life, and then for the stories that he's told and hopefully still will over the course of time.
Beard.
Yes.
Can I just say that every time you say the cat came was it? What was it?
The Cat Returns.
The Cat Returns. I can think of the song "The Cat Came Back."
Yeah.
And every time that line starts coming into my head, it's just like, Cat came back the very next, because that was a thing that I had to listen to every single day of my 5th grade year, because that was my teacher's favorite song.
Well, you might be joyed to know that is never played in the movie.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
So, kind of round out the actual top 3 list, my number 1 is another one of those animated films where animals are kind of, what is it called? Not humanized, but I can't think of the actual
anthropomorphized.
Term for it. Anthropomorphized. Thank you. And this one in particular is one of my favorites of all time because I have a deep love for Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yes,
talking about.
yes.
It has a mouse named Basil.
Oh my gosh, this
Basil.
movie was so great.
This movie is still one of my favorites. It is The Great Mouse Detective. And
This is a good one.
Oh my god!
That's
And
good.
I can't even point out why it was so good. It was just one of those things. It was well done. It's a Sherlock Holmes story,
It allowed kids to watch a mature story. Too.
right?
And it was accessible. That was for me was the biggest thing. It's like, I mean, I remember that's like All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Yes.
Like, there's so
Also
much going
good.
on, but it's not like over the top dark or anything like that. But if you sit
Right.
back and you think about it, you're like, oh, that's actually, it's again kind of like what Beard and I were talking about last week with Spirited Away and stuff. There's this whole like approach that, at least for me with The Great Mouse Detective, it was like, allowing for a more robust story that didn't kind of talk down to a kid.
Well,
Yeah.
there's even moments where you're understanding kind of the mental.
Mm-hmm.
Sherlock the TV show does a really good job of showing off how Sherlock was kind of an autistic character.
Right.
But even The Great Mouse Detective, you get hints of that. It's not nearly done to the extent of what Cumberbatch does in Sherlock, because it's written specifically for him to come across that way. But Great Mouse Detective shows
Highly
A
functioning
lot.
sociopath. Thank you very much.
yes, and it shows all the fun aspects of Sherlock, as well as just kind of the slightly disturbing shove kind of your maid into the closet type Sherlock, even though I don't think that actually happens. Great Mouse Detective. But yes, that one is definitely one of my favorites, and there's a lot of them going into chat right now. Yeah. Some of those different ones.
I was going to mention The Rescuers because there were so
Yeah.
many of those otherwise.
Rescuers Down Under.
Rescuers Down Under was by far the best one. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Counter-
I don't know. Like, I really like the original one. Like,
In the
Well,
bayou
look,
with the
this-
crocodiles.
yeah,
and-
with the
Five
crocodile.
Goes
Blue.
West.
Oh,
Look,
Five
Lou, you were probably also somebody that liked The Land Before Time, the first
Oh,
one,
nope.
because of all
The-
the
you mean-
implications behind it.
You
Nope.
mean the only one, not like one of the 500 that followed? Yeah, sure.
Ducky
I'll
annoys the
take.
crap out of
Well, okay.
me.
No, I mean, okay. Granted, Ducky was annoying, but let's all be honest. The first Land Before Times is the only one that should exist. Like everyone else was just like,
Oh,
I'm like, what is this?
no. Can we all agree that Ducky is the direct predecessor to Jar Jar Binks?
I thought they were related. Wasn't that the case?
Yeah.
They've got a very similar mouth.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
Ducky.
God, yes.
I mean,
Man.
by all accounts, it was the same thing as what happened with Bambi and Bambi 2. It was
Wait,
like,
there was a
I don't know
second
why we
Bambi?
have
There's
to-
a Bambi too.
Mhm.
I was about to
Yeah,
say,
there
wait,
was.
what?
There was.
Thank
and
you.
that's
No one said
exactly what I
Fern Gully,
said.
Zanny. No one said that one,
Oh,
but
Fern Gully is
God.
really good too,
It's
though.
on my honorable.
No,
Yeah.
No.
I
No.
enjoyed
No.
Fern
no,
Gully.
don't do it, Greed. Don't.
It's so
I
weird.
enjoyed
It's so weird that Beard and I are in agreement on this thing, but no.
Oh my God.
Why?
Well,
It's
no,
such a
look.
good
All right,
It's-
no. Like,
Okay,
here's the
go.
problem. We've got Captain Planet that was out there, and it was
Right,
already
yeah.
like force feeding me
How about-
all of this stuff about the environment, which
Which
is
I'm
the
not
World
going
Watcher.
to underline, which is its importance. But then, as a kid, I watched Princess Mononoke, and I'm like, this was so much better. Why did they even come out with Fern Gully? Fern Gully got so stupid in how the story was handled. Just no ifs, ands, or buts. It was so stupid in its
But
pacing
but
and how
the
everything else was put together. It was
Smog
awful.
monster was so disturbing.
You know who was more disturbing than the frickin' Smog monster? Oogie
Thank
Boogie.
you, Sam.
Okay? Oogie Boogie was so much better than the frickin' Smog monster. You want to talk about a monster that's actually done well, that gives me the creeps and whatnot? That is it.
Okay, speed round then, guys. Also, Rand, you get 2 choices. Things that were like almost made your top 3. Just rattle them off. Beard.
The 2 Final Fantasy movies that were out there, both Kingsglaive and Advent Children.
Advent
they
Children
were
is
both
amazing.
fantastic. I will never say that Spirits Within ever existed or was a thing. I will say that now. And then the other big one would, if I gotta say a Disney movie at some point, Ratatouille would have to be up there.
Oh,
actually.
yeah,
that is still one of my favorite Pixar movies of all time.
Blue also rans for you.
Big Hero 6 and How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh yes, How to Train Your Dragon is a good one. Justin also rans.
The first Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, yep,
and,
yep.
And Space Jam.
Yeah.
Yep. That one definitely.
Space Jam was amazing. Yeah, and we all agreed beforehand that it was okay to pick a movie that was part live action.
I mean,
yeah, I agree because my also ran is Pete's Dragon.
Oh,
the first
yeah.
one. The first one. Not
Wait,
the
there was
original.
more than one?
The original.
They redid it
Jesus
like the last couple of years.
Why do people do this?
And
I guess,
Lion King would be my second one.
Oh,
yeah.
You mean
Yeah,
Hamlet?
gotta go.
Hamlet / Macbeth?
Yes. Yes, exactly. But with better music.
So
fair
real
enough. I'll
quick,
give you
too,
that
I just
one.
I gotta follow up with like two more real fast. Dick Tracy and Roger Rabbit.
Oh, Roger
They're out
Rabbit,
there,
yep.
too. We got to get Roger Rabbit in there somewhere.
Definitely.
Like, what other place are you gonna find frickin' Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse in the same place ever again?
Right?
Okay, you ready for next week's topic?
What is it?
I'm scared.
It's going to be another tough one, I think, because it's going to be a pretty wide category.
I love
but-
how these like started off as short ones and now we're pushing an hour on this.
I know, and it's like, I'm sorry, guys.
My fault. Entirely my fault.
I wanted it to be simple, but let's do top 3 comic books.
Oh no!
Like, yeah. Oh God.
I'll even catch like manga can count as well. That's the problem. You want
Why?
You want to separate
Why are
them?
you doing
Okay.
this?
Yes, let's
We can
separate.
totally
Let's
separate
yeah,
them.
let's
Okay.
separate them. Let's because that like
Okay.
oh my God, that would
And
break
it doesn't
me.
have to be a like a specific title out of it. Like it doesn't have to be Killing Joke or anything like that. You could do like Batman. Or,
Yeah, no, that's fine. But like, I mean,
I'm
still
but breaking manga out of it will help a lot. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
not
still over
joking.
here having a partial aneurysm
You
about
have
the
a
fact
week.
that we were going to put comics and manga together, and I was going to have to
Oh my
choose.
That's what I was like.
three
I'm
of
like,
them.
Okay.
no.
The week we do manga, I'm gonna be real short with my list and
Oh,
be
that's fine.
like,
That's manga. That's fine. Like, I don't mind that. But like, as someone who equally enjoys reading comics and manga for very different reasons, because
Yeah.
the stories are, they're very different.
Altogether different.
And so, like, yeah, the thought of trying to narrow down. Oh God, I don't even know if I could narrow down manga. That's gonna be a tough one in general.
No. It's
But-
going to be like near impossible, and no, I'm
you
glad
have
that
a
we're making.
whole week
It's like-
to think about it.
You realize how short my weeks get, right? Like,
But
Right.
we're doing
you realize how
we're
this
doing
goes.
but we're doing comics first, right?
Comics, yes.
Okay, and then maybe after that we'll do manga.
Give you 2 weeks to think about manga so
Yeah,
you can
like,
plan ahead of time.
Maybe
Sure,
maybe
we'll do that.
idea.
maybe that's
Sure.
what we're requesting.
Okay, sure. We'll do comic books next week and we'll do manga the week after.
Yeah, that works.
I've got to find some manga that I
The other
you know,
funny thing is the next show is going to be shorter too because our week's going to be shorter because we're recording early next week.
Oh,
yeah.
So no
Okay.
stress there, Beard.
Oh no!
Oh,
I'm glad I
my
have
goodness.
Sunday off at least.